My Lords, I rise to support those two amendments. For the benefit of those with sight impairments, my name is Baroness Jones of Moulscombe. Green Party, yay. I've been working for 3 decades more on the issue of safety on our roads, on road danger. I don't know if that predates the noble Lord Bunkett's interest, but it seems like a very long time, and it's been a very long slog. And I've been working with amazing campaigners of all kinds. And I have to admit that when I first started walking, I was primarily concerned with cyclists, because at the time we had a lot of cycling injuries and deaths and relatively few cyclists, and I wanted to get more people cycling, get them off their buses, get them out of their cars, and actually make London cleaner, get the air cleaner with fewer cars. And so that was my driver at the time. Obviously, as I continued working, preventing deaths and injuries of all kinds, of walkers, of cyclists, of drivers themselves, became absolutely paramount. And when floating bus stops were first mentioned, I thought, what a great idea, what a fantastic idea, actually getting the cyclists away from the heavy vehicles and the buses. This seems like a really good idea. So I was a huge fan, and I have now seen the light. I can tell you, I have examined particularly the two over on the far side of Westminster Bridge, and they're quite interesting because one of them is awful, absolutely dreadful. I've almost got mown down by a cyclist myself there, and I'm fully sighted and fully mobile. But on the other side, it just about works most of the time. And so I can see there is an option for actually making all the floating bus stops we have as actually viable. The one on this side is next to St Thomas's Hospital, and for all sorts of reasons, there's a much better layout and better visibility and so on. But also I think perhaps cyclists who are zooming up the bike lane perhaps realise that there are people crossing into St Thomas's who may not be as mobile or as able, and so perhaps they take greater care. But the layout is different as well. And so I can see the possibilities. But, and this is a really big but, we have to accept that many are flawed, and it needs a huge look at all of these bus stops to make sure that they are actually viable. I would say to the government that it is wonderful that the noble Lord Hendy has been able to bring these amendments in the name of the noble Lord Blunkett, because it is a step forward. And I also thank him for the 30-second chat he gave me in the corridor earlier today. It was very beneficial. But I would say it's just not far enough. And having lived this for 30 years, I really feel that we have to do something bold and dramatic. There are other ways to actually traffic calm, because that's what I'm aiming to do. We can start, for example, taxing SUVs, these monstrous vehicles that are extremely dangerous, not to mention, and they make people inside them feel incredibly safe, so they drive differently. They're also difficult to park and so on. Better roads policing. We have some at the moment, and it goes through phases of being very good and then not so good. But we need good roads policing. And, of course, good planning. That is absolutely paramount. And like the noble Lord Holmes, I am a big fan of inclusion, and as I get older I realise I'm more interested in inclusion than I was when I was younger. And you cannot justify limiting one group's opportunities by giving another group more opportunities. And so I do hope that that the noble Lord Holmes will move this to a vote, and that we can actually show the government just how much we care about the issue.